Traditionally, qualitative research, quantitative research, thought of as two different modes of research, and yet increasingly clients want to combine them, and what we call this hybrid quali-quant. So what do you think accounts for that trend?
A lot of this is really driven by time or budgetary constraints. So a great example is a client wants to do patient journey research, but they also have an experimental product. They want to get some idea of share uptake. And they really don't have time or they don't have the budget to do a formal qualitative and quantitative phase like you'd ideally like to be able to do.
Right. So increasingly that traditional mode, the qual followed by the quant, just doesn't meet clients' needs. And yet they are still wanting that quantitative rigor with those qualitative nuanced insights.
Well, here's where it's really important to understand what's the key goal of the research. Is this fundamentally a market understanding project where they also want to get some numbers for share estimates, or is this fundamentally a rigorous forecasting study, but they also want to get some deep understanding as to why people are doing things?
Well, we often incorporate quantitative-like tasks in a qualitative interview. For example, patient allocation worksheets, or rating scales, or even simple choice tasks. We can easily incorporate these, and they're amenable to a qualitative interview. The problem is that they're not really going to give us projectable information. Nonetheless, using these kinds of quant tasks in a qualitative interview can be very helpful. We can leverage those as part of the interview. So, for example, if a physician respondent gives me a rating of 8 out of 10, I can say, well, that's great, doctor, so tell me, why did you give it that rating? So we can use it as a springboard for qualitative discussion. But it does seem like, Chris, the optimal way is to go with a quantitatively sized sample and try to inject some qualitative insights into that. Do you agree?
Yeah, and there are several ways to do that, and one of the ways that I like a lot is to do what we call qualitative bolt-on interviews. So for example, a client had an experimental medication getting ready to launch into new markets. They needed to have a market landscape study to understand how patients are being treated now and the like. So we put together a quantitative survey based on patient records. Now, while they were being recruited for this, the respondents were also asked would they be willing to participate in follow-up qualitative interview afterwards. And so they would take the survey, we would get the quantitative rigor from that. Then we were able to look at their answers, and we could find the people who were using particular therapies or particular tests that were of interest to the client, and then we could specifically target those people to invite them in for qualitative research. And that really allows you to drill down and understand why things are being done certain ways, and ways to get physicians to possibly change their behavior in a way that the client would like. And this really adds that qual depth much better than an open-ended verbatim is going to do or a closed-end test. And we've also got at Research Partnership a variety of tools and techniques that are really designed specifically for combining qualitative and quantitative research, and they've worked with a lot of them, Phil.
That's right, and one that immediately comes to mind is a mobile app-based approach that we use, we call RX Rationale. And that's an app that respondents can download to their smartphone or tablet, and it gives them a very easy way to participate in a survey. But the beauty of it is that it leverages the technology that's built into these devices. So when we have an open-ended question, instead of asking respondents to type out a response, which is kind of hard on a little smartphone keyboard, we can have them pick up the phone and speak their response directly into the phone. And then that gets uploaded to the server as an audio file. And it gives us very rich information that we can analyze. We can take audio clips and incorporate that into our report. So it gives us much richer data to use to enhance the quantitative research information we get from the survey. We can also have them upload photos or video, and again, this enhances the data, the quantitative data we get from the survey part of the study.